Mansa. Duguda Mansa. Loma Jonkana. Isaka Denke. Kabol Bla Ibrahimala. Kabombe Maramala. Isloma Jonna Esau. Donso Karakmala. Yakuba Koroke. Yejeda Ayoko Jalendo Ola Yejeda Jabambali Chekula Fia Jelana Akomi no Benna Ola Iye Musodan Minoko Bambali Oh Pada Chaudu Pada Chaudan Karamuye Yala sao. Danko. Bien jala ni minoko katani kasake kewa. Ankara fadi. Kajuya najidu prepara. Esau. Kana ina de Naji Dule Yaminde Nisibora alaka belekela ana alaka bugu turunga kuluku tema ako inyante ngaloni tuguya wuyo yelantola kangani anyuma tanke tiena ngajnya kisi ngangani ya imantiki bana nebenjo ni kajugu yae antunye fadeye tleniya dinono de kama kanaina Esau kanaina dinono ayashwe kabla kilindama
Kele ya nyina abaka saya diminko. Folo ko utumbi ketende. Mamna dunia tumafara.
Chete. Ibe galona. Galotkela. Kabri dunia dana. Dema ulo frafral de kono. Ne pa Isaka. Oya fraka bona. Ne pa Rebeka. Oya fraka bona. Yakuba. Ni fali bora de la. Mi yere mo kay. Ka mara gariye ngasi ko kono Kotli ni adi bina gen ni yoro e tela Angele tiki ya la utanye Babe wili na mara kwa
Balma che Esau'S.
Munabe fagefa.
Utman antu edimsei. Sokoma fajirife. Korache Esau'S tumita donsuya. Londo uladani fe. tun ye sɔ naji dilan n yɛrɛ ye n kɔrɔcɛ isawu nana ka bɔ donsoya la o don kungo ma di a la kɔngɔ fana tun y'a ni tɔɔrɔ kojugu
Kongo ma dia ma fɛn sɔrɔ
ma fɛn sɔrɔ kɔngɔ bɛ na a b'i komi n ka jɔ juru don n yɛrɛ kan na ka taa n yɛrɛ feere
sufɛla ma kɔnɔ ni su kora I bɛ dumuni kɛ
yakuba dɔgɔnin man di n b'i deli kɔngɔ bɛ ɲini ka n faga
k'e faga ɔ sa kɛ ne sara ne tɛna kɛ lu dencɛ fɔlɔ ye wa
n'i b'o de fɛ o ta n mago foyi de t'o kɔrɔya in na I ka sɔn naji dɔ di yan
e dale k'a fɔ dɛ kali ma layira
n ye n kali
kali ɲɛnama
n kɔrɔcɛ y'i kale a ko ne isawu isaka den ibrahima ni nuhu mɔden n ye n kale mankala la k'a fɔ n bɛ n ka kɔrɔya falen I ka sɔ nanji la
sɔ naji dɔrɔn
kosɛbɛ
Right, Shalom to the house of Israel.
Shalom, Israel.
Yes, to the Bayafa Yashara Allah, and also to the Bayafa Dawada, right? To the elect, to the hopeful elect. You know what I mean? All around the globe, man. You know what I'm saying? All across the earth. You know, four corners of the world, man. You know, the beautiful things about these truths is that, you know, when you come to this show, you have to weather a certain storm in it. You have to go through things, you gotta lose certain brothers, you gotta stay, it's like, you gotta be on your own for a while. You know, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful. It's a precept speaking of, you know, this would be like a distant memory. You know, this would be like a distant memory. So yeah, man, that's beautiful, man. When the time comes, we'll be laughing about it. You know, all the things that made us enemies, so to speak, we're not really enemies. You know, so to speak, everything that your brother did to you that you did, in the kingdom, we'll laugh about it. You can't you can't even hold grudges. You know, it's not possible. You know, and I experienced like, when you go through something with someone, and then after a while, you let that energy is gone. You know, you look at him, and after about him, after you look at him, causing it good. You laughing, and you talking, and you drink wine, but remember that happened, and you laughing about it. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. And I pray that the same thing happened to us in the circumcision, where we're able to laugh again about things that happened. Because it was part of the movie, you know. It's part of the movie, man. So we have to, you know, exercise patience, you know, love, you know, and forgiveness. You have to be long-suffering, man, because the thing that we did to the Most High, if the Most High was like that, we would have been dead today, man. Walk this out and not even coming back to do anything, stay somewhere stuck in one of those chambers in the Shamayama where you hear us stay there, man.
So you know the Most High has mercy on us.
Yeah, so he has mercy on us. We gonna have mercy on you. That's very important, because at the end of the day, everything it's just like a misunderstanding or different understanding. You know, different understanding. If a brother don't understand you, doesn't mean that he hates you. Just like he doesn't understand you. And now people have the way to express it. That's what it is. You know, I'm not gonna hate a brother just because he doesn't understand what I'm teaching. I can't do that. In the beginning, yeah, we were feeling some type of way, like, hey, why is brother talking like that? Now, it's like, man, that's nothing. At the end of the day, we're all brothers, man. You know, so yeah, so before we start the lesson, we're going to turn to the east, man. We're going to turn to the east.
Alright. Allah,
On the law.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Shama,
Shama.
Yahsha'ai,
Sha'ai.
Raka'athar.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about a phenomenon that is taking place, that is happening, alright, in this kingdom that a lot of people don't see. And through the Spirit, I'm going to teach you. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you. You know what I mean? So it's about, measuring the time, man. When we're measuring the time, what do we see? There's something that we need to see. And as men of the Lord, we need to pay attention more. Your eyes, the spiritual eyes need to be activated for you to see, man. To see what's going on, to be able to read the things that are happening, events that are taking place, in this kingdom, all around the world, and you look at them and like, yo, you know what I'm saying, something is going on. Alright, so let me have a look at my notes, you know what I mean? And I was reading something last time, and I found out that the gospel, the New Testament was put together 2 centuries after the passing of the disciples.
Centuries?
200 years after the passing of, after basically they did the ministry, innit? Peter, Paul, all of these guys, all of these guys that did the work, innit? You alright, sister? But anyway, that guy, the gospel was put together 200 years. Meaning, what does it mean? It means that the gospel today that we're talking about, people didn't even look at it. They looked at it like that. They shot them and they looked at it like that. From the corner of the eye, they didn't even take it seriously, Before.
Yeah.
Basically, nobody cared. Nobody cared about the disciples. It was all a sect, a group of people that were actually following them. Yes, they was about our life. Because a lot of people that came and they received the miracle, they came before because of the miracle. They came for what they could get. But the one that actually followed the disciples after Yahushua got back to the Shemayama, the one that actually followed the disciples, there was few, man. So it was like a sect, it was like an underground understanding. Most people wasn't with that often. But now look at it today, man. Everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about Jesus. Oh, Jesus, oh, good old Jesus. Everybody talks about the gospel, but before that, no one cared about it. So when you do something, you got to do it wholeheartedly. When you do something, you got to do it with heart, man. You got to do it with faith. You got to be mentally strong. Me and the brother are standing there. People looking at us and they're passing by. Who cares? We're not going to worry about them. We're going to carry on because we feel as though we're doing the right thing. So we ain't going to let anyone come and take us out of our elements or trick us out of our spot. Just like the brother that came and said, yeah, you guys can be teaching here. Look at them. What's on that, brother? I'm doing.
Oh, so that's it.
Yeah. That always say, I'm telling you, you're not wasting your time. But yeah, they're quoting from the Bible. But yeah, they say that, so for Jesus, Yahushua, it's going to come back.
Not the same thing.
But yeah, exactly. So what's the issue then? You know what I mean? But they're trying to get us out of our energy, of our understanding. But we're not coming out of our understanding. Only the Spirit can take us out of our understanding. And men cannot do that. Right? So let me get into it, man. Today we're going to talk about Jacob's. So we'll go to Jacob and Esau. And people, they think it's the traditional understanding. No, it's deeper, man. You're going to see it yourself. Right? So go to, get your, no. You're going to get it later. We're going to get into it later. Go into the Apocrypha, and read 2nd Esdras 6, right? start at 8, 9. And let's get into it, man. Once you read that, I'll be able to go into the lesson. You know, the brother need to know what's coming, man, what's happening.
8 to what?
Well, I said 6, 8. No, you read it. You read 8 and 9 minutes.
Oh, it's 8 and 9, yeah?
You read 8 and 9.
Alright, so this is the second Esau'S, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
See that? Jacob's hands held first the heels of Esau. Now, what does the heel mean? Heel is part of the feet, right? Right. So, the feet has to do with destiny. So, if you have a dream and then you see yourself not wearing shoes and wearing barefoot, it's not a good thing. You got so outside in your life. Something is going wrong. But that means that you don't have a shoe. The equipment, you're not equipped. The reason why maybe you're not where you're supposed to be because you're not equipped. Something missing in your life. That's why you need to get where you're supposed to get. You operate in a gift that else I gave you.
I think that's one of the women does.
Oh, shit. Break that down.
Like, I was just saying, like basically, it's quite a lot. Said how, like, your steps of your feet, is a sign of your destiny, right? But a lot of women out there, when they see it, when they check a man, or when they check him out, they check his shoes or his trainers. A lot of women, they judge men based on what they're wearing on their feet. Like, if he's a nice guy, with money, if he can travel, if he's smart, if he's into, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So that means that women are even though they may not know it, but women are they're very spiritual. They're naturally they're spiritual.
Like if you basically you're wearing barbie shoes and you're not really giving her that game, it might not be interesting compared to a brother who's got a bit of game but he's wearing flashy nice trainers and shoes. More likely to give you a chance.
And that's why women look at you. Women look at the outward, they don't look at the. Sometimes they look at how you dress and then your personality.
100%.
They look at how you keep yourself, what you're wearing, if you're clean. You know, if you go to your yard, you may not have everything, but if your yard is well put together and clean and costly, they're ready to rap with you. But then women are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? If you got everything, or you'll be dirty, or you know, everything is dirty, or even, you know what I'm saying, disorganized and whatever, you can't do your bed and then look at the line now, this guy, because they're thinking about
He's a boy, not a man.
yeah, boy, not a man. It's not, if you can't do your bed properly, you can't put it together, or you can't take out. And even when the women come cooking for her as well, it says a lot about you. The one Ashanti brother from Kumasi that I worked with, he told me about that, and I was laughing. I was like, come on, man, you want to cook for a woman? What kind of bitch? Like, you said that, what are you talking about? What you said I'm on the page? I'm telling you something, it's accent, right? And now I understand that. I was like, oh, women is like, you can take care of her, you can take care of this. It's very spiritual. It's energy. When people eat, you know, they get energy in it. They full up and they got energy.
Yeah.
All the time. Strength. You know, so everything like that, nourish me. Nourish me. That's what they do. When they meet a man. So anyway, well, obviously that's why it was just like a bracket to open and close. But read 8, carry on reading and finish the 8. But read it again because I'm not a heel and I want to get into it.
Go again. It's the second Esau'S, chapter 6, verse 8.
It's very interesting. So don't think I'm just taking time. And also, I'm catching out the people that just come and listen to you for a few minutes to see if it's going to be, you're gonna miss a lot. Like, if you want to learn, you gotta watch the whole video. That's how it works. You gotta be interested in it, not just coming and clicking through. You're gonna get the knowledge. Read it.
It's the second Esau'S, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel.
So Jacob's hands held first the heel of Esau. And I told you that heel, that feet represents the destiny. Now, when you read verse 9, it's going to make sense because normally when people come out with twins, the birth is that the first comes out, and after that the second comes out. When Esau was coming out, bro, Jacob was right there. So that means it's war. So Jacob that's the reason why, Jacob ended up having the blessing. Because there was a war that went on in the spiritual realm. That's the reason when Rebecca, all right, had that understanding about why she had to be a fine nation, right? Right. Well, because there was a war, and Jacob took over in that war. That's why in the spiritual realm, it manifested in such a manner where Esau had to give the blessing to Jacob. How did he give the blessing to Jacob? By being carnal, because he couldn't fast. He couldn't fast, man. He couldn't wait for the food to be ready. That's the reason why in this society you have McDonald's. Esau he learned how to quick. Esau is about quick fix. Because he's very carnal. We us take time to cook. So Jacob was telling me, look, the food is not ready, man. Just let it know, man. I'm weak. He said, oh, so you're weak. All right, then you know what? If you want to eat that food here, very crafty. But that's the spirit that the Most High put on him to do that. The Most High is the one. Because when you read, I believe, Romans 13, it tells you, 13 or 11, it tells you that, even before the children was birthed, you can see he already done that. He already established that. So he put that spirit on Jacob to say, look, if you want to eat the food, right, you have to sell your birthright. And the carnal Esau was his birthright. All right? Right. So that's what we're going to go into, because it's something that's happening in this society that is showing the fact that Esau is actually grabbing. Esau, when you fight, if someone hits you in that area, it's over. They're killers, they're killers. Right. Right? And that's so spiritual. That's why when you finish reading that, you have to read Isaiah 2. It's over. You can't walk.
Yeah, you can't stop.
You can't walk. It's like we can always see the man on to section his actions, man. And that's what's going on, right? So spiritually, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So spiritually, Jacob holding that hill, that's what it meant. That at some point, it was going to take him down. But when you go to Genesis, you're going to understand how the Most High did it.
When you saw him on Jacob's like, you ain't got no man, come on.
Yeah, you ain't going to know it, because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to take my blessing. Because I know that when I come over here, because you're a hunter and you bring them nice food, I know Jacob, being the father, he will love you because of that. You'll be his favorite. But at the end of the day, the blessing is for you. So I'm not going to let you, I'm not going to let you take the devil. At the end of the day, I'm going to take over. At the end of the day, you're a big problem, so yes, you're going to have some rooting. And that's the way that we see right now. But the blessing will be mine. Esau hates Jacob. And that's what we're going to go into. Watch how the people are flipping around what I'm teaching.
Rebecca's very smart as well, She like Jacob a lot.
No, the reason why is because
the household,
right.
She liked him, and she saw something.
No, she moved because they used to go to the sea. Now, at that time, Israel wasn't formed to say that, when it's see prophets. So my question to you, brothers and sisters, who are these seers that, Rebecca went to see? And was he wrong for her to see the seers? And that's your exercise. Find that out. By finding out, you understand the whole Shem lineage and why Moses always went back to Jethro, why Jacob had to go to Laban and things like that. You will find out. Now, carry on.
Yeah.
verse 9.
Yeah, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. Right. So that's what's going on. And now the reason why I'm doing this lesson is to tell you this. You know, Jacob is even with Esau right now. You know, Jacob is even right now because if you look at society right now, when I'm breaking it, you understand something is changing. If you go to certain places, you can see Jake like never before. You know, certain high places in society, Jake is there right now. You know, a lot of shops in society. What happened is that what the Mosai did. This is how the Mosai bruised the Esau, you know, archeries or healing or whatever. This is how he did that. He broke the COVID-19 out. The COVID-19 has weakened Esau's power structure. It's weakened. Right? And since that time, Jake was able, because not Jake is a supplanter anymore. He was able to enter there and make miracles. And a lot of the position are taken by who? By Jake. One example, quick before we carry on, one example. The leader of the conservative. That's Kemi, the Nigerian woman.
Unheard of.
Now, when you look at Kemi,
I know a black person, but she's West African.
right, and that's what
Irish.
right,
Unheard of, bro.
right, right. Well, that's spiritual, man.
Very.
That's spiritual, man. And Kemi is what? Yoruba. And a lot of these Yorubas. And Kemi, you know, Kemi, you know, she might be an Ephraimite. You know what I'm saying? So the Ephraimite, the one that get those places most of the time. Judah, when he gets there, he gonna change everything, and they know that, so they won't let they will kill Judah. But they will let Ephraim be there, man.
I don't see that.
But if Judah will change everything. Judah is the one that creates, bring the power. He's the one that subdue the enemy. He's the lion. So you can't let Judah have his way in your kingdom, otherwise he will change everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Otherwise he will change everything. So that's a good question I could ask, isn't it? It's okay, isn't it? Sure. So that's it for today, as far as the instance. So yeah, that's fine. But you see that, you know, Esau right now is feeling some pressure now because Jake is coming up. They're even now. They're even. Right? They're even now. Even. And Esau knows that now. Esau is the arbiter of them. So Esau is watching it. Like, yo, more neighbors are coming around us now. The level we're on, look at Kanye West. Kanye West is cheating on these Amalekite, and there's nothing they can do to him. He's not dead. He had an interview with DJ Academics, and guess what he wore? The black KKK. And you know the black KKK, it goes back to when the Moors was ruling in Spain, you know. They used to wear the saber tie. Yeah! Listen, because Kanye West here, people think that he's crazy. No. But actually, he understands that he's way above.
Yeah.
He's way above the Negro.
He might look crazy or weak.
But it's not. He's very he's intelligent.
He's locked in.
You don't get to that level if you're not intelligent. It's very plain. But guess what? They can't even touch him.
That's the issue of the Most High.
Yeah, the Most High is using him, man. So when you see Kanye doing this thing, and he's talking shit like anyone else in that industry cannot talk shit. But why is he talking shit? Because the spirit is on him to do that.
And he was up there as well. So obviously he was working with Jay-Z. So he was up there, like the hierarchy.
Jay-Z can't say what he's saying.
No. Jay-Z's he's probably trying to contract us.
Right. Exactly.
But Easy, where he's like been up there like in the industry, he's seen things, he knows things. And for him to come out of there and like expose them and whatnot, and still be alive and talking his talk, you got to clap your hands to him, man.
Yeah. But that's what I'm point. My point is, that's the proof. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I will give you certain example that is in society, and you'll be able to know why I say that through the Spirit that Jacob is even with Esau. We are even with Esau, man. We may not see it because you don't pay attention. Because you're looking at the struggle, but in the spiritual realm, we are even, and even looking at the time. When did we do our Passover?
Last week.
No. When did we do our Passover, man? I'm talking about Pentecost. Passover. Yeah, Passover.
Or when or where?
When?
Like 2 months ago?
February.
Yeah.
Did it in February. Did it in February. All right. So that lets you know what. When is the beginning of the year in Esau Kingdom?
January.
Right. And we did ours for February. But there's an alignment. So basically, it goes to show you that nobody, like if you want to know the time of if you want to check the Hebrew calendar, you don't even need to check the Hebrew calendar anymore. It's basically the Hebrew calendar and the Esau calendar are in alignment now. Because what happened is that the Moses are shaving throughout the years. I mean, since I came in 2019 in the children, the Moses have been shaving the days. They've been shaving the days off. So instead of 30 days, you have less than that. So when you accumulate, at some point, they will cut they will align. But that means also that now, that manifestation of what you just read, 2nd Esdras 6 and 8, is manifesting right now. That whole prophecy is now on the battle, right? Because when you read, go to Genesis, before I carry on, go to Genesis 27 and read 39. Let's read it. Let's read something quickly.
What?
Genesis 27 here.
On what? 39?
Yeah, start 39 all the way. Let's read it. Let's have an understanding before I get into it. I'm already into it. But before I read my notes, it makes sense. Let's read that one. You understand what's going on, man.
Okay. So this is the stolen blessing. Genesis chapter 27, verse 39.
Right.
And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Right, so he's talking about who? He's talking about Esau, because Esau was crying. So when Jacob received the blessing, Esau was crying. So Moses told him, don't worry, the fatness, and where's the fatness of the earth? When I first came in this room, people was talking about America and all these places in Europe and that. That's not the fatness of the earth. Yes, America has a lot, but the fatness of the earth, biblically speaking, is Africa. Because first of all, in West Africa, in South Africa, you got a lot of these Edomites living there. And on top of it, the Edomites are rich based on the fact that they are exploiting Africa. That's what I mean by that. When you read the Bible, you got to understand its literature. You got to understand, read it.
Yeah. I'll stir it down.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
And the dew of heaven from above.
Right, carry on.
Verse 40.
Uh-huh.
And by thy sword
Right.
shalt thou live.
So by the sword, Esau is able to live and eat and do his thing because he goes to the fatness of the earth, which is Africa, and he subject his brother Jacob, and he's able to take, because to Jacob was given the fatness of the earth. That's where all the resources are. So he goes with the sword and takes his brother down to eat, to live. All right, carry on.
And shalt serve thy brother.
Right, and shall serve thy brother, because when he says serve, the meaning like your brother will be more powerful than you. All right, in strength. When you go into Mamre, the first place where Abraham, lived when he came into Canaan, it goes back to strength and fatness. So in strength and in resource, as far as riches, Jacob, he will serve Jacob. Because without Jacob, Esau is not in. So really, they are servants, you know. Because all you have to do is flip it around and then leave us now. That's all you have to do. If the Moses flips it around today, we're on top. Because naturally, we're the top guy. We're the custodian of the richest place on earth that will make any kingdom the richest kingdom on earth.
Now, you know how they got the United Arab Emirates? Now you have the United African Nations.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's like,
all the countries in Africa unite, it's over.
Well, not all the countries in Africa, but it's about Esau and Jacob.
I know, but let's say most of them together, right? It's might be off topic, but it's
no, it's not off topic. It's just like you say there, when you say all the people, everyone in Africa is not us. But we cannot unite because one has to be the head and the neck, and the other one have to be the servant. You understand what I'm saying? We have to unite first. The people have to unite. So in that sense, I understand. The Israelites in Africa have to unite. But we're the one to whom the promise is given. That's what I'm saying. These one, all these other nations, gonna be subject to us. That's what I'm saying. So the point is, keep on reading, man. Keep on reading. Keep on reading.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So when you read that part, when you say that
Genesis
chapter 27, and you say that you will get your read it again.
Alright.
You know?
This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 14. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother,
right.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
And how you explain it is the fact that for a long time, back in the days, back in them time, ancient time, for a long time, Esau was nothing as a nation, bro. Esau was, they were nothing. They were running around in Africa, they went to Europe. They were nothing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing. And we were the one ruling, you know what I'm saying? But it came to a point where, they took over. They took over, and when they took over, this is what happened. They took the yoke off of the neck. And even, when you read the Bible, King David had some, he got him in the chokehold, man. But they're able to free themselves. Yeah. Alright? And also, even when at the time of King Saul, he had like a guy, he had a guy that was working in his army, you know, that was an evil man as well. So they were under us, man. They were under us. But now that they're ruled, you have to understand, their ruling is coming to an end. And that's what we're going to get reading.
Oh, carry on. Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing
wherewith his father blessed him.
Right, because Jacob will always, look, we went to slavery, it's true. We colonized, it's true. But right now, as far as music, the Afrobeat guys are all over the place right now. They're entering realms after realms upon realms. They're going in, there's no stopping them. That's one example. Talk about the Kanye situation. That's one example. Alright? And not just culture. When politically we don't get into it. Let's talk about Kevin. Yes, he might say that she doesn't hold no weight, but it's an omen. It's a prediction of things to come. You gotta understand, when you see things gotta be spiritual to understand what's going on. Because Yahweh ruleth in the kingdom of men. Yahweh ruleth in the kingdom of men. Yahweh is the one that controls everything, whether it's on the left hand side or the right hand side. Yahweh is the one that put her in there for us to know what time it is. That's what it is. Now, I heard the GMS, elders say that, what's his name? Donald Trump is Nero coming back. I would like to ask the brothers of GMS. Nero was like an ancient Roman king. But Nero goes back to what? To black. Nero is another word to say Negro.
Cafe Nero.
Like niggers, yes.
Coffee shop.
Yeah? Or nigger. Or however they say in Latin. That was another attempt to say a Negro. The way they say it back in the day in Latin, in the Roman world. So Nero was a Jake. So if he's Nero coming back, now we have to inquire and ask the spirit if Donald Trump, is he an Edomite or is he a speckled bird, a bastard child? Who is he? So you see, these are the things that we need to understand. So when you say that he's Nero coming back, you got to understand in history that Nero was a Jake. Nero was the one that was blaming the burning of Rome on the Christian. All right? On Rome or the Christian. Why? Because there was a war that was going on. Just because, he was blaming the Christian, which were Jake, doesn't mean that he's not Jake, Because back in time, the rulers was going against the Christian, and also it was a war between the Catholic and the Protestants. But it wasn't a race thing. It was a religion. You have to inquire. I know it's plenty. No. It was a Negro. Whether it was a lighter skinned Negro, or whether it was a so-called mistress Negro or a pure Negro. Negro wasn't a Edomite. So I'm asking them, seeing them say that Nero is the reincarnation. Trump is the reincarnation of Nero. I'm asking them. Now you go understand. Is Trump a speckled bird, a bastard child, or is he an Edomite? If he's an Edomite, then that's not Nero coming back, but Nero was an Israelite. So that's what I wanted to say on that, right? Now, I mean, keep on reading. Verse 41, we're going there, man. It's a very interesting lesson.
Taking it there.
You know what I'm saying? We're taking it there, man. Read
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning
for my father, because Jacob died. So he said the days of mourning for my father, carry on.
The days of mourning for my father are at hand.
Right.
Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Right. So so meaning like his father wasn't dead yet, slacker, but he was about to be died.
Yeah.
He was about to be done because he was dying.
Dying.
That's why he gave them their blessings. But he said once Jacob passed, I'm coming for my brother, and that's what you understand. And that happened. You don't understand prophecy, just like history repeats itself.
Obviously, Esau couldn't take out Jacob while Isaac was alive, because obviously Isaac couldn't do it. So obviously Esau's probably thinking, my dad's dying right now, but as soon as my dad's gone, I'm gonna take out Jacob, literally.
Right.
Louder. Yeah, I'm speaking too low.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Jacob was thinking like, no. Esau was thinking, you know what? I can't really kill my brother right now, but as soon as my dad dies, I'm taking out my brother and wiping him out. Right. That's what Esau was saying in his heart. So he's wondering in his heart that this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Right. So exactly. So it's the same thing, and history and prophecy do repeat itself. So what happened is that, it's the same thing will happen again. And that's why they went into West Africa. When they saw us in those big kingdoms, and what did they do? They took us down. Even before that, in Europe here, when we were ruling, what did they do? They took us down at some point because they're envious and they will try anything to end. That's the reason why today a lot of Jake are slapping the Edomite. Some Edomite even giving a woman to Esau. the BBC phenomenon that we go.
The
Edomite men are giving the woman to. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes, like that. Yeah, to Jake. That's what I call the BBC. The BBC movement that they talk about. There was a girl that was this Edomite girl. She was you know when you go on the how do you call it, surgery and that they give you these things. No, they give you these things. No, they give you these things that you don't they numb you. That had like an effect. You know I forgot the name. French is anesthesia. Anesthesia. When they give you that.
Anesthesia?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So when they give you that afterward, when it wears out, there's like a second effect where people just speak. They're like they're into they're under a certain conscience. Like they're woozy, so they start talking shit. And then these Edomite girl was like, I want some BBC, a big black, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that was a no. That's how I knew that. Oh, so that's all they do. And then when they don't do it, that's their fetish.
Yeah.
They love the BBC. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on right now, man. That's what's going on right now. To the point where the Edomite is giving his woman. It's happening in love. It's happening in love right now. That's another.
There's nothing new under the sun, right?
Exactly. And that's how you know that Jake is taking over. Because what in his right mind would give, all right, his wife to another man, to another nation?
No, you don't do that.
It's spiritual. All right, so that's one thing. Keep reading. So the envy is what's going on. And since prophecy and history repeats itself, we are even now. Because whatever that do, we can do. Look at in West Africa right now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. They say fuck the French, and my country is following suit. Even though they have a guy over there, but he's gonna soon go. It's a thing that will take place. It's a prophecy, man. So we even the fear that we had, you know, of him is gone now. That magic is wearing out.
I don't understand, man. Like, especially in the 60s in America. Why did
because it's a spiritual.
It's spiritual, isn't it? I know it's spiritual, but why don't you just die fighting, man?
It's spiritual. You know, that was the Most High cursed us. It took away our strength. It's a spell. It's literally a spell that the Most High put on us, man.
For me, I would have.
Anyway, so it's prophecy, but right now we're rising. The fact that you know who you are, you can speak in the street. You're even with Esau. Can't you see?
That nation as well.
You're even with Esau, man. Her woman wanna be. I always told you, right? If you wanna see where a nation is, look at the woman. The woman wanna be with us. What's that tell you? If that woman wanna be with us, what's that tell you? All right. But anyway, keep reading so I can read my note. It'll make more sense. Yeah, that's the key right there, man. So that thing on man.
Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee.
Right. See that? Go to kill thee, carry on.
Verse 43. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. She said, listen to me. And arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran. To Haran.
That's how he went to Laban. Now these people.
So Laban was his uncle.
Yes.
Does that mean he married his cousin then?
Yes.
First cousin, second cousin?
I don't know about that, but all I can tell you is that he can marry your cousin. No, today things are changing. But today you marry your cousin. Obviously, because obviously you don't need to marry your cousin because you got plenty of options. At that time, the most I wanted us to get, because these are Shemites. So the Lebanon and the Syrian, the original Syrian, which are all the Somalian, Ethiopian that you see around, those the East African, but the Shemite, not the Emite. Even though we married Emite as well. You see? So Jacob going back to Laban is spiritual, because that's where the wisdom is. It's part of the Panama. So Rebecca is telling us today, the spirit of Rebecca is telling us today to go back to the Panama as we can even with Esau, because Esau is the killer. Esau is the avenger of death. And that's what that short season and that Jacob trouble is going into. Because as they see that we trying to surpass them, they will come. That's what it says in Isaiah 59, like they will come as well as the floods.
And martial laws.
Right, all of this is because of the blessing they know now, because they took it for joke. Therefore, like, oh, you see these new Edomite, they don't know nothing. It's the elite that know the ancient ways. The Edomite, they think that they got us forever, we under them. But when they see that we are trying to go over them now, that's where the killer will come out. The killer in them will come out. That's when that prophecy, yeah, will manifest. That prophecy will manifest. Alright, because prophecy that repeats itself. It's gonna come, man. It's gonna manifest. They're gonna try to take us out. So we gotta pay attention. A lot of brothers don't pay attention, man. You gotta pay attention and understand what's happening. There's even a law right now. It's called the two tiers law, something like that. And that stipulates that the white male in England will receive a harsher judgment in the court of law.
Oh, what?
I'll put a video on that.
But James, there is a racial component to what is happening with the British law. We now have a two-tier legal system, James, whereby white men will be treated harsher now under British law, James.
Well, yeah, it's really, really shocking, this. Basically now they have put in this system whereby pre-sentencing reports, which basically automatically take into account your race, your gender, your circumstance, all of that to mitigate the sentences that you might get for whatever crime you're alleged to have committed and been brought before the courts and convicted of. That now means essentially that white Britons are going to get the worst treatment when it comes to sentencing. This is the two-tier justice system. This is why they call Keir Starmer two-tier Keir. And
no, ask me why is the Most High doing that? Go and read Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Yeah, you're asking why as if I'm the one that comes to the Most High, man. I'm just the messenger. Deuteronomy 30 and 7, read it. Yeah, go shoot the messenger. When I say white man, there was a bunch of white men that just passed by. They were looking at me funny as if I'm the one that they should look at. Don't look at me. Look at the Most High, but you don't even believe in it. But you're gonna believe though. When you see the manifestation of the power of our power, then you're gonna start believing, man. Read the Deuteronomy 30 and 7. What does it say? Yeah.
What, verse 7? All right. So this is restoration promise.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy God.
So I read the precept, but people might say, the guy, they don't read precept. You don't have to read precept every second.
Yeah.
Make people understand what you're saying. That's what it is. You use precept sometimes to kind of open it up more so people can get it. But if I can break it down and bring clarity, then the precept is already, through me, the precept is speaking anyway. I don't have to be quoting script every precept every 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemy.
Right, that's what it is. So the curses that, consist of, getting our people locked up, getting the black man locked up in the court of justice for no reason, is falling upon the white male now in this country. And the reason why it's in this country because England is a very powerful country. That's where everything started. That's where the Bible, the King James Bible that you love to use, were translated. That's where the version was given by King James. All right. So this is where the church was established. That's the reason why the curse manifest. In that aspect, in that respect, it will manifest first in England. It just makes sense. I can see things through the spirit. why is Kemi in power? Because this is where everything started. This is where Eve ruled before. And rule is, when you see Eve coming back, Eve is the mother of Jacob, or Eve is the mother, right? So the mother is coming, the nourisher is coming back. All right? That's why you shouldn't hate Eve. Because just like you will get into power, he will get into power as well. But at that point, but in this case, she will know where she will know where she stands. And also the reason why it's a Kemi, a female, it's not a male, is because the man, the Bible says there's a curse in Isaiah 3 that say that women shall be ruling over them. All right, in Jeremiah, there's a time that come where a woman will compass men, and that's what's happening. But it's for you to wake up now. You know, black and so-called black men, Israelite men, it's for you to wake up and take what's yours. All right? But nevertheless, we are taking over. Because you got black men like, what's his name? So-called black men like Kanye West, that's taking over, man. All right? He's doing this thing, he's billionaire, he's talking this shit, he's talking down to Amalek. He even made his wife, what's her name? I forgot her name. That woman, he made her, that girl, she's walking, she's an ex, I believe now. I think now they're not together. But when they was together, you know, she was walking naked, man. Yeah, probably. Yeah, she was walking naked. She had a little thing. It's all spiritual, man. It's all spiritual. You gotta look at things spiritual.
I heard that, but still, can't let your mum be walking down the street.
No, she was my head. You get what I'm saying?
Spiritual, I know it's spiritual.
So I'm saying that, yeah, she's not in the right mind because Esau is not in his right mind. And I'm saying Esau is fucked up right now, man. For your woman to be walking around. Lies, you know that when you get power, they go, okay, that's the revelation. The reason why Kanye had her at some point doing that is because he wants to show that when we're in power, they'll be our slaves, they'll be naked. They'll do what we want to do with them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me read my note. Esau still hanging on Jacob because of the blessings. As Jacob reaches the level, his level, yeah? Or I can say as Jacob becomes even with him, he will unleash his rage on Jacob children. The Hebrew calendar is now even with Esau calendar. But what does it mean? All right? You see more and more Jake cracking this door open, meaning this realm, right? The awakening in West Africa is also a sign. The ability of measuring the time through the spirit is somewhat one of the gifts of the spiritual man and the prophets. Those individuals are able to look at what's currently is going on around them and around the world and link it with the prophecies and the scriptures in the scriptures. So let us measure the time. We read already. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 and 6 and 8 to 19 is a prophecy of the main two characters in his age, and it describes what will happen at some point of time. Now, verse 9 tells us Esau is supposed to reign now, which is doing, and that's what we've been seeing for centuries. But verse 8 is manifesting more and more. Obviously, Esau came out first, right? He came out first out of Rebecca's womb, and that's why he's the ruler of the end time. But then Jacob was holding his heel, and the feet represent destiny, which also means that Jacob is now even with Esau. Jacob is slowly taking over Edom through the power of Yahweh Shai, and it's evident to see, right? Now read Matthew 24 and 22. They spoke about it, but read it for the sake of the notes.
You don't read Matthew today.
Read 24 and 22.
Oh, Matthew.
24 and Yeah, read it. That's what I'm telling you to read it. Huh? Yeah, the word is powerful, man.
All right.
Don't know that it's powerful. That's right.
So this is perilous times. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Right.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Right.
Our sake.
Right. So and as it's shortened, you know, as far as how are you shortened? The time I realize that time goes quick.
Yeah, man.
Everybody be saying that, man.
Bro, you've been telling me this, man. It's like, bro, the time.
Yeah, time goes quick. Yeah, because it's shortened. That's how you know that he's shaving the days. So if he's shaving the days, obviously a lot according to the moon, but a lot of these camp they just don't pay attention. You know, they keep doing this. You gotta flow with the spirit. You gotta look at the sign. I'm not saying be a moon gazer, but you gotta be a moon gazer to a certain degree to know what's what.
It's beautiful looking at the moon.
To look at the moon, to take. I'm not talking about taking notes. The first, you know, when it's crescent, boom, you know, from the west, you're like, oh, and it goes all the way. You check it. So this is my note. One thing I witnessed coming in this truth through the Church of Esau'S in 2019, Manaka Aisha now always kept note of the moon consistently. That allows him and the brothers who were also in charge of looking at the moon to know that Yahweh was shaving off the days. So a lot of the time, a month wouldn't be 30 days, but less. All right?
28,
sometimes less. He's shaving 3 days at a time sometimes. But you got to pay attention to me. And that church did that. I started with them. I left them. We came back at some point. Remember when we were doing the new wine? And then we saw how they were keeping the time. They're very good at that. All right? Yeah, Makala and Zakwana and Nakwama. Yeah, which are Isiko, right? The spirit, yeah? So, which means Jacob has finally caught up with Esau and is about to get really serious. As you all know, the mighty French are slowly losing power over there in West Africa. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are no longer under the mandatory French rule. A more French-speaking country in that region are working on chasing the French away. The Edomite magic is wearing off. Read Ezekiel 36:5. It's wearing off, man. You know, so that's what we see. We are even. Understand. But also, while you're being even, you gotta be spiritual and understand the time that we're living in. You gotta be careful because Esau's there already. Come on Jacob. Yeah, read it.
This is the mountains of Israel to be blessed. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 5.
Read it.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession.
Right. Africa, West Africa.
Where else?
Exactly. Carry on.
With the joy of all their heart.
With the joy of the heart. Why? Because they're profiting. They're not profiting from that place over there. As much as they're profiting from this place, which is called West Africa.
And that's all Israel there, right? They're most of my Israeli Jews, right? Israelis.
Right.
And like the West, well, the Jews are mostly on top. So how's America going to try and possess their land?
Right.
If the Jews are mostly
But they took it no longer. So they said that they took it from the Palestine. I'm sure you read in 1925, and everyone that was there was those Hamites that was there. There wasn't no Palestine, no Arabic. Yes, they might have been there now, but that was as much as well. It's only after they took over, man. So it's only in West Africa. You gotta pay attention. Carry on.
Yeah. Which have appointed my land into their possession,
right?
With the joy of all their heart.
Meaning they will make them rich, more, they became powerful based on the exploitation of that land. that didn't happen in that other land. That land is not that rich. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay attention.
Read it. The spiteful minds cast it out for a prey.
You cast it out for a prey. When the lion chases after a gazelle, what is it for? Is it to play with it or to eat it? So when you say cast it out for a prey, that means that they're eating from that place. They're being rich from that place. They're taking the resources, the life, the strength of that place. And that place over there hasn't got that resources. I'm sorry to say. See that? It's common sense. Keep reading it, Malachi. All the way to 7.
Verse 6. Prophecy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy, and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen.
Right.
Deep still. Verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh.
You have borne the shame of the heathen, man. Please quickly go on Google and read the NLT version, please. Go leave it, go on Google. Or you can, there's a way to get the NLT as well here, but you ain't got time for that. So go to Google and type Ezekiel 36, 35, sorry, and verse 6. And let's see what it says, man.
On 36.
35, 35, 36, 36.
Verse 5 was it?
Verse 6. Verse 6, yeah.
All right. This is right here. Yeah. So this is Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 6 NLT. Therefore, prophesy Salakia, to the hills and the mountains, the ravenous and valleys of Israel. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am furious that ye have suffered shame before the surrounding nation.
Right, so you see, we suffered shame.
Angry person.
Right, and we suffered shame. Why? We're talking about the land, right? The land, man. We're talking about us. We are the ones suffering shame, bro. We are the ones sitting on gold, on all these riches, but yet we're poor. We're the one. All right, now go back to
I have verse 6. 7. Verse 7. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame.
Right, see that? They shall bear, and that's what's happening right now in West Africa, where they're being kicked out, man. Right? Read it.
Verse 8. But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches.
You see that? Ye shall shoot forth your branches now. Go to...
Forth.
Yeah, shoot forth your branches now. Go to Genesis 49 and verse 32. So look at my people, man.
Witness them.
Just stay like that. I have to hold it, bro. I have to hold it. I'll play before me. No, it doesn't matter. I'll play before me, innit?
I know, but I'll see where it is, though, bro. Yes? Yes, calm.
Yeah, I'll play before me. Yeah, read
This is what?
Yeah, Genesis 49 and 22, innit? We're going to see when you say shoot forth, there's something that's happening right now. I talk about the Nigerian. Everyone talks about the Nigerian. Everyone, even in Atlanta, the women gonna go out only to West Africa. Even Nigerian or Ghanaian, obviously others, but mainly those people, they're the ones that are known, they're the ones that speak. You know, they're the two main ones as far as speaking English. Because you got Ivory Coast, Cameroon, now very doing the same thing as well. And they speak French, and French is not really known like that compared to English, right? So that Nigerian energy that's all over the place. Go on that's the daughter of Zion right there. You know what I mean? She got that beauty, natural, right? So we gotta understand, man, what's going on now. The French is reading. We don't know why the Nigerians are so long, why they're so sought after, why the music is concealed on a high level. It's all prophecy. Reading.
This is
Genesis
Genesis.
49 and 22. Genesis 49 and 22. 49 and 22.
Yeah. This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well whose branches run over the wall.
You see that?
It's like in the garden, right? You know, you've got certain plants, and it just outgrows. And it grows and it grows and it goes to the neighbor's garden. You have to prune it, innit? But still.
And they were trying to prune it. They were trying to cut it off. So a lot of the Nigerians, gotta be careful in America. They're gonna come against you lot, you know, because you lot are too powerful. A lot of the West African, a lot of the Caribbean, because ultimately the Caribbean come from that stock, and the Black American come from that stock. So we are the same people. You came from that, even if you don't, because of media and education and the way they paint the picture, you reject Africa, West Africa. They come from that branch as well, you know. And also the overflow, and that's what's going on right now. We are taking over. But as we take over, the hate, the rage rebirthed again, because they're talking about all these guys, man. The blessing. It's all about a blessing. All right. Mm-hmm. So now, I'll read my note. Right. And I was saying now, as you know, the mighty French are slowly losing power over there in West Africa. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are no longer under the military rules, French rule. And more French-speaking countries in that region are working on chasing the French away. The Edom'S magic is wearing off. We read Ezekiel 36, 5 and 7. We read Genesis 49, 22, right? Jake is coming to grip with his strength. And I want you guys to read Baruch 2 and 30. Over here in Europe, the French national football team is an evidence of what is going on. It is basically an all-black team, okay?
Predominantly, yeah.
Right. Throughout Europe and America, Edomite men are giving the women to blacks willingly. It's a phenomenon that is very meaningful. The BBC phenomenon. All right. One of the ways to conquer a nation is by taking the woman. Read Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 30. You don't understand what's going on here. This is one. 10 to 13. Yeah.
Alright, people, this is domestic relations. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives
read it like your mom, man. Like, what's going on?
A beautiful.
Read it, man.
You ain't gassing me up.
I'm not gassing you up. I know.
You know. Yeah. Verse 11. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Verse 12. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
Right, see that? So that was the war, innit?
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, that was the war, right?
Verse
That's
13.
The war context, but it's war. It's a war, whether you like it or not. We are war against these people. So when you see Esau giving his women, or we see taking that one, they just want Jake and Jake will take, it goes to show you that there's a war going on outside, and they're safe from it, man. They're safe from it, but we ain't safe from it also, because very soon they were like, no, we can't take it anymore. They were trying to wipe us out because of that blessing, but they can't take it. But then again, when you read Jeremiah 30, you see what it says about Myra. Symbolic, man. And then she can grow it back after. Because she's mourning the people, innit? She's mourning the people.
Oh, yeah.
So she's mourning the death of their son. So that's why in West Africa, when people die, when your people die, you shave your hair. So you're mourning. So really, a woman shaving her hair for no reason in this country, it goes to show that the state she's in. A woman, a black woman, Eve, cutting her hair in this captivity, spiritually mean that she's mourning. She's not in the right mind. Something's going on in her life, man. Because a normal woman, keep your hair, man. That's very important. You know what I mean?
So read verse 13.
13, yeah, read 13.
Verse 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and she shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so,
right.
A shift is seriously taking place. Just open your eyes and see. In England, we have a Kemi, a Nigerian British-born woman who is the head of the Conservative political party. They show a conservative political party and show us that the Edomites are losing the power. Though she doesn't represent much, but it's rather an omen. It's a prediction of things to come. She represents Eve, and what does the scriptures says in Genesis 3 and 15? You read it and understand that. More and more blacks are taking over certain realms of society, and that's a fact. The Jake factor is slowly taking precedence. Kanye West wore a black KKK attire during an interview with DJ Academics and saying things that no so-called black man could say, and no one is saying anything and doing anything to him. And that's the most high doing that. On top of it, his now ex-wife allegedly used to walk around naked, and she's Amalek, I believe. All right. Even Drake is going toe-to-toe with Amalek by taking a music label to trial. One of them is music label to trial. I forgot the name of that. I don't know if it's UGMC or whatever. And that's a clear sign that Jake is on the same level.
Hey, sister. Hello.
She's on the thing. And now, that's what you have to focus on. The Musa is showing you something. Yeah. Oh. And that's a clear sign that Jake is on the same level. Now, before the kingdom comes, God understand they find us weird. They don't even associate with us. You know what I'm saying? When they see you, it's something like that. They want to talk to you. That's why we have to. That's the thing. I'm doing it on purpose, but I'm not here to play. I don't. If a woman ain't gonna like me the way I am, like, please stay away from me. I'm tired of fakeness. So it's good like that. You know, I like that. I love it. If you don't like me, it's okay. But boy, when the time comes, when it's my turn, you ain't gonna like it too. You know. So I was saying that. I said even Drake is going toe-to-toe with Amalek by taking to the music, taking the music label to trial, and that's a clear sign that Jake is on the same level. Now before the kingdom comes, right? The Nigerian Nigerians getting into higher space in the global music industry, as well as some other West African music artists like the Ivorian Dream music is now noticed all over, and they speak French, so the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled right now. Now, this is where history repeats itself. We must understand that the whole point of the transatlantic slave trade and the African colonization was the manifestation of Esau hate and envy of Jacob based on the blessing of his blessing. Alright? Now when we read Genesis 9 and 45, we talked about it. Esau would do it again. So this is the time to really activate the blood of Amashara on you and on your closest one, because he is the advocate of it. And that's what the we surpass them, that will take us onto a war path like they did before. And that's what it says in Jeremiah 30:7. You know, in Jeremiah 30:7. At last that day is great, so there is none like it, because it will be a peculiar one. All right, this is the final or the finale. All right, the last Edomite attempt to take the blessing from us, but it will fail because Esau's weakness is his carnality, and the carnal cannot overpower the spiritual power. Right? So obviously, you know, some of you will be edified. Hopefully, all of you that will watch the video will be edified. You know, that's the time that we're living in. When you study the thing around you and you measure the time, that's what's going on. You know, it's easier now. If you really work hard and you're about your business, you can make money, especially with the, with the internet and everything. A lot of you can make money. AI or a logic, you can make money, man. A logic, you don't need to work 7 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 5, they make money, anyhow, because it's open for us. But as it's open for us, they will sleep in it. They will start having sex with the daughters of Edom'S, and they will start thinking, we have this spiritual power, not knowing that they're naked. And that's why they use a lot of them get kicked. So we know what's going on, and we're going to pay attention. We're going to be asking them to protect us with that power that comes to us. Alright, so with that, we'll turn to what we were edifying, we'll turn to the east. Allah, Yahweh, Shama, Yasha'ai, Shalom, 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 Shalom.